Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're so happy you could join us for week 2 of School Support Sensory Fitness Live. I'm Val, and this is Hannah. We are from Mount Mary University, and we are OT interns at HIR Wellness Institute. You may not know what occupational therapy is and how sensory fitness can go hand in hand with occupational therapy. So what we are occupational therapists, mentors of hope, dignity, and function, who help individuals reach their highest potential through methods as dynamic as an individual, as each individual. OTs are enablers of independence and facilitators of passion to support long-term and meaningful goals of an individual.
These episodes of Sensory Fitness Live will help address difficulties with homework, focusing, and sitting still while engaging in virtual learning. COVID has caused some major disruptions in everyone's life, including the children's and parents. School is happening very differently, and virtual learning could be taking a toll on everyone's body. We have to think and plan harder to have a flow, and sometimes I'm sure there are opportunities for meltdowns or feeling out of sorts. Meltdowns and tantrums are not misbehavior. They're an outward expression of a child's inner distress. We have to look at our children and think about what they've lost with this pandemic and steering clear from setting the bar too high. On a more positive note, the pandemic has allowed for a time to get to know our children. We have to try to set them up to be the most functional in their routines. Therefore, sensory fitness will help manage when you're feeling out of sorts by helping them to regulate their brains so that they can focus and have the alertness and have the connection to be in the just right, ready to respond place.
Thank you, Hannah. So last week, we learned a variety of different seating options that can help support children when they're learning virtually at home. So to recap the different seating options we mentioned, to have your child sit in a chair, in an upright posture, having them lay on the ground on their bellies. Remember I mentioned with your hands like that on your chin, or even having them lay on their sides, as well as having your child sit on the floor in a crisscross orientation, or having them stand while even doing their schoolwork. Um, these are some example of the different seating options that we spoke about last week. Hannah, what was your experience like?
So I tried out the position where we lay on our stomach and prop our head up with our hands. That really helped me to engage in a 2 hour meeting. So
Nice.
that really helped me to relax. It was different from just always sitting in a chair at a desk for a long period of
I'm
time.
glad. Nope. I also, for me, I have 2 kiddos at home that are actually virtual learning. So I implemented this with my son who's 11. And I had him actually also lay on his belly while like watching the Zoom meeting, because there's so many Zoom meetings and things like that. So for him, he's easily distracted. So I felt like this would help regulate getting him in that just right gear in order to focus. And it really helped him out. And I think him switching up instead, like you said, sitting in a chair all day, that's just, sometimes not helpful. So for him, it was successful and he was able to stay focused.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you. So how did it go for you, relatives? Were you able to try out any of the seating options that we provided last week? Please leave a comment down below, and we'd be happy to learn more about your experience.
We also learned how to be a detective, and we mentioned how you'll have to examine different behaviors that your child may be expressing. In organizing these different behaviors, we thought of them as gears in an engine, and the engine is a symbol of our body, where the gears are all of our sensations. This kind of leads us into what we're going to be learning about today. So, relatives, did you know that we have 8 senses? Those senses include hearing, seeing, touching, moving, smelling, tasting, using our muscles, and then also listening to signals from inside of our body. In order to better understand ourselves, it is important to learn about all these systems. Today, we'll be learning about our hearing, smelling, seeing, and our taste systems. We have solutions for each sense to help meet your unique sensory needs, which can help you to be in a just right gear. But we will get into that in just a bit. Val, do you mind showing our relatives our speedometer again for a little refresher?
Of course. Here's our speedometer. All right. So an engine that is running in a high gear may look like you're overwhelmed or frustrated. This one right here. You may have tense posture. Your child may be cranky, fidgeting. They may be angry, overly excited, or even fearful. If their engine is running too low, it may look like they are sad or discouraged. They may even have a slouchy posture, be sleepy, or have a lack of interest in activities. A just right gear, right here in the middle, is when we feel happy and balanced. Our children switch into these different gears throughout the day, and we as parents move through these different gears as well. But we do activities without really thinking about it to get back to that just right gear. Keep in mind, though, that we do travel through these different gears all day long, and that's okay. Sometimes we tend to stay in one of the three gears for most of the day, and that's okay too. We want to provide strategies for when the gear that you are in isn't supportive with the task at hand. So now what we're going to do is pace to get us ready to learn for the day. Hannah, would you like to help us with that?
Sure. So, relatives, I do invite you to grab some water. And this is just going to increase the electricity in our body. And first, we're just going to take a measure. So, by doing that, we're going to go down and touch our toes and come back up. And just make note of how you felt. And we'll revisit that at the end. So, now we'll do pace. Place one hand on your heart and then the other on your stomach. And then just breathe and close your eyes if you do feel comfortable. Good. And now let's take our right hand to our left knee and our left hand to our right knee, and we're just going to alternate. All right. And now reach out in front of you. Place the back of your hands together. Reach over and grab your fingers, and then pull your arms into your body. Also cross your ankles. Again, if you feel comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes and breathe in and out. All right, and then just come out of that slowly. And now bring your fingertips together. And that does conclude pace. And now just go down and touch your toes one more time. Val, did you notice anything different from the first time?
I was feeling a little anxious earlier, so now I feel more calm and relaxed. Most definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I feel in the present moment a little bit better too, actually.
Awesome.
Relatives, how do you feel? If you feel comfortable, leave us a comment. We'll be happy to learn about your experience.
Yes. Perfect. Now we are going through the different scenarios and solutions to discover your child's sensory needs. You might have noticed problems in your child with their sensory system, and this could be pre-COVID or it could be current COVID related. This is to give you tools to be that detective for your child. Now let's take a walk through some of the more obvious or external senses. The first sense that we're going to talk about is hearing, also known as our auditory system. Does your child have difficulties with listening and hearing, especially if there's a lot of background noise going on and distractions? Do they have difficulty remembering spoken instructions? Um, Things like that. So the following scenario we're going to act out for you is going to depict a child's sensory need of hearing. So just bear with us. We're going to just get ready.
Professor Wiseman was coming to dinner, and the man with the yellow hat wanted everything to be just right.
Ring, ring, ring.
I have an idea. Why don't
Oh,
I finish
hey,
getting the
how
apartment
are you
ready
doing
and
today?
you go to the
Oh
store?
gosh, no, I know.
Great. Let's
Just
make
here
a
at the house
list.
with my baby here. She's in school,
Okay,
and I'm
I
just
need
finishing some
carrots
work
for my
here.
famous carrot cake.
Oh, I have to let you go. Oh,
Oh, I just can't focus.
Cucumbers for my famous.
as you've seen, Hannah was working on her schoolwork, and I was, on the phone, and there was a TV going on in the background with the cartoon playing while she was trying to do her schoolwork. And you noticed her grabbing her ears and saying, "I can't focus." Okay, so we have to pause here and be a detective, right? So you have to observe your child's response to the different types of music or sounds that are in the environment. In this situation, she was distracted, and the noise was upsetting her while she was doing her schoolwork. Okay, so as for a solution, one of the there are many solutions, but one of the solutions that we recommend is providing earplugs, or like, these are like little headphones here. You want to see them for your child, so they can help counteract these irritating sounds to calm her system. You can even play some music, which I'm going to play right now. You can hear some calming music, some instrumental music. It will really help your child focus. Um, because what happens with the instrumental music, it kind of fades into the background, and it really can be a big support for your child.
Also, too, finding music or a song that is maybe familiar to the child without the lyrics, that may help to make them
Yes.
feel more grounded and more calm, less alerting, like I was just a few minutes ago.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah, good idea, Val. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So the next sense that we're going to talk to you about is the sense that allows us to see, which is known as our visual system. So does your child become irritated with bright lights or maybe shy away from certain glares of light? The next skit that we'll show you is your child's sensory need of seeing. So we're again going to get set up for that. So relatives, as you can see, Val's trying to concentrate on her schoolwork, but she has all this bright light in her eyes, which is making it very hard for her to concentrate. And so she's rubbing her eyes, and she's blinking a lot, and she's turning her head because she's trying to avoid that light. So in being a detective, you may have to observe these sorts of behaviors in your child. And so for a solution to this, maybe creating a space that contains natural light or even light that is very dim may help her to feel a little bit more calm so she can finish her schoolwork.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah.
So the third sense that we're going to speaking about is our sense of smell, also known as an olfactory system. So does your child not notice drastic changes in smell? Do they habitually smell objects with strong odors such as soap, markers, clothing, flowers, gasoline, etc.? Um, the following skit will depict a child's sensory need of smell. Okay. Mm. Mhm. Thank you. So now we're going to pause here. And as you've seen here, Hannah is really like smelling this fresh laundry basket of clothing here because it's just out of the dryer. So that strong scent of clean clothes. She was smelling her
Toys.
toys, the sand. There's a strong odor to that too. Um, so when here being a detective, you see that your child needs those strong smelling odors to feel regulated. Therefore, you have to experiment with different scents to find that just right one that meets your child's sensory needs so they're in that just right gear. So a solution could be playing guess that scent with your child. Okay. What I have here are some scent, like some essential oils, but if you don't have essential oils, that's okay. You can use like a perfume. You can use some
Lotion.
lotions. Yes, thank you for sure. And what you're gonna want to do, you're gonna have her, for example, I'm gonna have Hannah. We're like, these are some essential oils. I have her smell where you can close her eyes and have your child say, okay, close your eyes, and have her smell the different scents and to see which one makes her feel um, in that just right, like alert state. Because this can be actually for alertness and for calming. So whichever one that she might need, we can most definitely use and put it like on a cotton pad, put it on in a sachet bag and put it in her backpack so she can have it throughout school. We could also put it on a polar fleece or cotton pad. You can dab a little bit of the essential oil on there and she can keep it in her pocket, in her coat pocket. And it actually helps with the like tactile as well. She can feel that pad and actually smell like her finger of that pad, bring it out throughout the day if she needs that calming or alertness feeling for her to feel regulated in that just right gear.
Yeah, Val, and even just smelling some of these, I looks like I have cedarwood here and bergamot,
Mm-hmm,
clementine, and the cinnamon leaf.
mm-hmm.
And out of those that I've smelt, I think the bergamot one makes me feel very calm. And it may be different for you too.
Yep.
You may smell the same exact oils, but maybe the clementine one really calms you down, and so
Yeah.
then that's the one that you choose to use.
Exactly.
So this is a really good solution. So thank you for this.
Thank you so much. And relatives, and Hannah, did you know that our sense of smell is one of our strongest senses for alerting and calming? Sometimes we smell fire, for example, and we immediately are alerted, right? Like, oh my gosh, this is fire, what's going on, right? Your alertness is at this heightened level. Also, thinking about a certain person or a place may bring up a certain kind of smell that is calming to you.
Mhm. I think for that one in particular too, if you think about your grandma and maybe if your grandma's baking
Yeah.
cookies, you smell that, right?
You
And you're not
definitely.
even with
Mhm.
that person, but just thinking about that person, you're like, oh, I smell cookies. So
Yeah.
maybe you have
Yeah.
that experience too, relatives. And if you are comfortable, we do encourage you to share.
Yes.
So our last sense that we're going to talk to you about today is our sense that allows us to use our mouth, which is our taste, also known as our gustation system. So does your child chew on clothing or objects, prefer to eat more crunchy foods, smoother pureed foods, hot or cold items? Our last little demonstration will show your child's sensory need for taste. So Val, I noticed that you're doing your schoolwork and you're chewing on your nails a
Oh,
little bit or
yeah.
writing. I noticed that, and um, I do understand this need, and so taking a moment to talk about this. Nail biting and thumb sucking, it's a form of heavy work, and this behavior actually helps us to feel safe.
It
And
does.
so, by you doing that, you're helping your body to feel safe. And
Yes.
becoming a detective, you'll have to use oral or mouth activities to figure out what's calming and what is alerting and what will increase your focus. So maybe to replace
Mhm.
the nail biting, or even if sometimes you have a tendency to kind of suck your thumb a little bit, one solution that you may try is eating or sucking on something sour or salty or even spicy to alert your body, and to increase your focus so you are able to maybe write your paper that you were just working on.
Thank
Um,
you.
our jaw may need this heavy, I'm sorry, our jaw may need to work hard to feel better. And so dosing in something crunchy, like maybe some raw vegetables or
Mm,
chips or crackers, or even chewing on resistive food items such
okay.
as gum,
Mm,
or non-food items such as latex-free tubing or straws,
mm,
that can really give our body a sense of calm.
yeah. Thank you so much, Anna. And thank you, relatives. We hope that this helps. We're looking forward to hearing about your experiences next week. If you're wondering about the other four senses that we didn't talk about today, uh, well, next week we've got you covered. And we'll talk about, take a walk through the rest of them. So we just didn't want to overwhelm you all with all of 8 today. So for sure, next week we'll be talking about the other 4. So in order to figure out which strategies work best for your child, remember again, we have to be that sensory detective, right? In order to find that out. It will take some trial and error, but when something is working, you'll be able to see those strategies um, that were most helpful for your child to help support them, and many factors that may influence your child's sensory needs from day to day, from activity to activity, and even from minute to minute. Therefore, you have to utilize these sensory tools that are safe and effective for your child and his or her needs. Individual sensory needs are not to be judged as good or bad, as right or wrong. They just are. So we have to teach others to understand that an individual's sensory preference has to be honored.
That's right. Thanks, Val.
I think you're welcome. Thank you.
So, relatives, we do realize that times are tough, and the different gears that we're experiencing, they are normal. And sometimes they can feel hard to manage. But here at Her Wellness, we're always here to offer a helping hand when things do seem tough. You can always send us an email, or for more information, or if you do need support, contact our CARES Warm Line for the emotional and social support at 414-748-2592. Again, 414-748-2592. And someone will be in contact with you within 24 hours or less. Relatives, thank you so much for joining us for week 2 of School Support Sensory Live Fitness. We hope that you enjoyed your time with us as much as we enjoyed being here with all of you. We look forward to seeing you next week, Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Please contact us if you do have any questions or if you would like some more information about our sensory system. We would love to respond. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, thank you, relatives. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye.